All right, today is a pretty cool day. We've got some chicks hatched, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna break one of the cardinal rules of chick hatching, and I'm gonna move some of them into the brooder before the hatch has finished. There are definitely still more that are going to hatch, but because we had a few hatch so early, they've already been in there for 36 hours, and I need to get them out so that they can have access to food and water. So we're just gonna very quickly and carefully sneak our hands under the edge of the incubator and put those chicks into the brooder without letting out a lot of the humidity. That's the goal. And we'll only do a few at a time so that we don't mess up the hatch. Okay, so first off, guys, let's show them what the brooder is. So this is our brooder. Briley's right, don't touch that. That is the heat lamp. It gets very hot. So we don't leave it set up like this. I just have it like this because I was heating up the wood chips. It's just sawdust kind of down in there. And I was heating that up before we put the little chickies in there because they need their heat to be around 95 degrees to keep them warm enough because they just have fluff. They don't have real feathers to keep them nice and warm like the grown-ups do. So first things first, like I said, we put the sawdust in the bottom. And then what we do is we add some food for them. Briley, can you show me the food? Okay, so the food goes in a jar like this. What we do is we fill up the jar, and then we put the jar onto the base. And the little chickies get to eat from this part, and then as they eat, the food drops down into the jar more. And when it gets empty, we refill it. So Briley, please put that in towards the corner of the brooder. Yep, that sounds good. I'm going to move it just a little bit away so that the chickies can get to the back side of it too. Okay, this is what I use for their water. So what we do is fill this with water, and then the little chickies can come. They do it even gentler than that, Briley. They just poke it just barely, and little drips of water come and hang on the end of this, and then they can drink the water. So we don't have it filled just yet. I'll fill it after we get the chicks in because after we fill it, we can't set it down because it will spill. Brandon also has the final piece of this. It goes on the top, and then we'll set the lamp on top of that, and we use a little chain to hold the lamp in place. Now, the reason we have this is for two reasons. As the chicks get a little bigger, they can jump really high, believe it or not, kind of flap and jump high. Now, I don't know if they'd be able to jump out for sure, but it's not something that I want to test. We also have it because we have a cat, as you can see. And I think you probably maybe saw him walking around because he's right over here. So obviously, the cat's going to be interested in quail chicks. So what we do is we put that on there, and that way he can't get any of the chicks. He has never yet hurt any, even when we've had them out and they've been on the floor running around, but I don't want to test fate because he's a cat and they're birds. So let's get this ready over here, guys.
Yeah. And one more thing about the water.
Yes, the water gets hung from this grate so that they can reach it. Okay, so guys, what we're going to do here I guess, is we're going to just set that down, Brennan. We're going to just move the chicks. So, Briley, you do the honors here, girl. You don't open the top much. Just reach in very gently and carefully take out a chick. You sure can find some. We have 10 in there right now, and like I said, more hatching. Did you get one? Good. Let's do a zoom in here so everybody can see what they look like. Okay, hold still. I got to be able to... Look at that cute little baby. Open your hands a little bit. We don't want it to fall out. But we want to show just how tiny its little body is.
So tiny.
They're like a little mouse. That's about how big they are. Maybe a little smaller. He's a lively one. Okay, put him in there.
If you want to hold one, you can hold it close to the ground.
Yep.
Or you can have a parent hold it and you can...
And do you see how they can run around right away? They're strong. So this one, it's probably only a day old, this one. And he's already running around, no problem. And we're going to show them how to get a drink too, so that they can know how to use the water. They would figure it out anyway, but they figure it out faster if you kind of show them once. All right. Riley's got another one. Another cutie, of course. Hold still. Hold still. Yeah. All right. You go ahead and put him in.
There you go.
Great. All right, I'm going to pause for a second while we move the rest. Okay, guys, so here's what it looks like, finally all set up. And you can see in there that the babies are all huddled up right now because they're chilly. So after they warm up, they'll start to spread out a little bit more, and then they'll explore and find their food, drink their water, and that's about it. So as more hatch and get nice and dry and fluffy, we'll add them in there, and they'll stay in this brooder until they're, well, getting too big for it. And at that point then, I'll have to move them to another brooder that I have that I keep sometimes in the garage or in a different part of my basement. And they have a lot more space in that one. This little quail baby got to star in her own photo shoot at Barbie's house. They were in the bathtub, the baby's cradle. Here Barbie took a time out and sat down next to her on Barbie's bed. Notice I'm saying her, I don't know. I'm wishful thinking that it's a girl. Here we're in the baby's high chair, so tiny. And then they went back to the farm and Barbie pulled her in the trailer. Here you've got a Nerf dart. And this next one, look it, hardly taller than a minifigure.